Meet Jackie and Bernard Green from Donegal in Ireland.
Myself and Bernard met as a blind date, which was set up by my mum.
We really hit it off the first night and we've really just been together ever since.
It was love at first sight.
Just 9 months later, Jackie and Bernard were engaged. And they started to make big plans for their special day.
I've always wanted a really traditional wedding, a nice quiet, just family and close friends. But we wanted to do something that would make it different at the same time. So we decided to make a wedding video and keep it as a surprise for our guests.
We didn't know what people would think, or it was a bit too crazy, but we did it anyway.
But this was a wedding video with a difference, so they sought the help of experienced filmmakers, Sean and Kieran.
They approached us and they asked to make an entertaining video to show their reception before they came in after the wedding.
Prior to Jackie and Bernard's wedding video, we'd never done a wedding video before. I was sort of excited to get involved in this.
You call it, Kieran?
So work on the top secret project began.
Action.
But time was against them.
We filmed the video about 3 weeks before our wedding day. There was no kind of big rehearsals, it was kind of really just off the cuff.
So when you get here, just Jackie, come on! So like more, sorry.
It was very hard to keep it so quiet. Not being able to talk to anybody else about it was the most frustrating part because we were so excited of what we were doing.
Action!
That we couldn't tell anybody.
3 weeks later, the wedding day arrived. But before the big premiere, there was the small matter of their ceremony.
Our wedding was quite traditional. We both met at the altar and we had a really traditional service. It was such a lovely ceremony.
With the ceremony over, the guests headed to the reception venue, unaware of the horrors that were about to unfold.
Without further ado, if I could have you all standing to introduce the bride and groom.
When it was time for us to go into the reception hall, the manager introduced us as Mr. and Mrs. Green, and when she opened the door, we weren't there. So everybody was like, oh my God, where have they gone?
Sorry guys, I think we have a wee bit of a hitch. We seem to have lost the bride and groom.
Suddenly, the big screen inside the venue begins to play. And it's showtime.
Show the love, that's it, work it, work.
So myself and Bernard were posing for some photos in the forest.
Great. Love it, love it.
And the next thing we see, some people kind of coming towards us in the distance. And we're like, what is that? And the photographer's like, come on guys, look at me, look at the lens.
Guys, eye lines, look at the lens, look at me, look at the camera.
Next thing, they're coming closer and closer, and we can see their faces all white and they've got blood, and Bernard's like, zombies!
Oh, look at love, please! Zombies! Zombies? What do you mean zombies? Wow, zombies!
They kind of take down our photographer and we're like, oh my God, we need to get out of here. And Bernard's like, run, run, Jackie, run.
Run, Jackie, run!
We take off running and then I kind of stop and Bernard's like, what are you doing? Come on, come on, come on. I'm like, I've got this, I'll get it, it's fine.
Jackie, what are you doing?
I got this.
I'm left with no weapons, and she's there with a 12-gauge shotgun. Arnold Schwarzenegger would be proud of her.
Bernard's kind of like trying to find some sort of a weapon. Then the zombies kind of coming towards him. And he just whacks her head off.
But it's not the size of the stick, it's how you use it.
Jackie, come on!
We're trying to get to the hotel and warn everyone, and we just stumble out of the forest, and luckily enough, there's a helicopter just about to take off.
We run onto the helicopter and we're like, go, 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 go. Actually, that day there was like a yellow weather warning. It was really, really windy.
So there was a few kind of nervy moments when the helicopter would move or dip down. The helicopter lands and we get off. We see a jet ski. Jackie kicks the sailor who's tethering the jet ski.
Two of us jump on the jet ski and we shoot off. Bernard had never driven a jet ski before, and neither had I. And Bernard can't swim. I can, but I had a big massive dress on, so that was probably the scariest part, was going on the jet ski and trusting Bernard like to keep us both alive.
It was a wee bit dangerous in that respect, but I think it was well worth it.
So we arrive in the reception of the hotel and we're like, we need to warn everyone.
Meanwhile, inside the venue, people are just trying to eat their dinner.
You've got tomato sauce all over your mouth.
There's no napkins.
Well, go to the bathroom and wash it off.
Can I just... Oh.
Come on.
To warn everyone. One of the guys comes out groaning, with sauce all over his face, and of course we spot him and obviously assume he's a zombie.
There's a bus crash in Donegal this morning.
And next thing, the news kind of catches my eye at the side, and the news reporter says that there was a bus crash. They weren't actually zombies, they were Daniel O'Donnell fans that got caught up in the bus accident.
The bus. According to the other passengers, they were dazed and confused and wandered off into the forest.
So if they weren't...
And he wasn't.
Then...
So the realisation then kind of hits like, oh my God, we've just murdered people, but we can't let this ruin our wedding day.
Couple of nutcases.
Not much ruin our day. No one can know what we just did.
After everything that's just happened, you're just going to walk right in there.
Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do.
And that's then when the doors opened. Everybody was just going hysterical, like they were laughing and clapping, and it really set a really nice atmosphere for the day. Everyone was buzzing, like, and they're like, oh my God, like, where did that even come from?
After all the months of planning and everything, it was a lovely conclusion. It was a really happy feeling.
Their zombie wedding video went down a storm. All thanks to filmmakers Kieran and Sean, who brought the killer project to life.
We didn't have many resources, but the beautiful thing about where we live is that you can make a few phone calls and you can get incredible production value like helicopters and jet skis just from local favours.
And the dynamic duo weren't just behind the lens.
Photographer is actually me. I play the photographer.
And I'm the guy that gets kicked into the water. The lengths we go to.
Leading up to the wedding can be so stressful. You're just under so much pressure to get things done. And even like when we were making the video, it was just like, oh my God, I could do without this today. But then when we were on set and we were filming and we were having so much fun, kind of like it was a good way to relax.
Yeah, definitely. It was a stress buster for us, and we'd recommend it, definitely.